It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News, back live from Forest, Virginia, back in the studio. Max the dog and Brat the cat. Oops, that's this way. Oops, my chair's in the way for Brat the cat. And of course, Tina Turtle were all glad to see me. The other two cats that live in this household, Sherman and Cottonelle, they want nothing to do with me. So I guess I haven't fed them for a long time. And they're highly upset with me. But, oh well, that happens. Okay. First of all, yesterday, sincere apologies for canceling the broadcast at the last minute. And I'll give you an explanation why. About 2 a.m. in the morning, somewhere in Ohio, we took on passengers. Maybe Toledo. I don't remember what town it was. But amongst the passengers was a gentleman in a wheelchair, a lady with a walker, another lady with a smaller walker, and two more people that were mobility challenged worse than I am. All right. So, I'm on the lower level of the train so that I can have access to the bathroom on the same level. I can't go up and down those steps. I found that out the hard way. Well, neither could these people. There are already a ton of people in our part of the train. So because I was on the front seat, which is the technical accessible seat, one of the two in that car, they put the wheelchair guy as my seatmate, which in order to be able to operate on the train, I was using my walker as the seat in the walker as the table for my computer. So I could have the camera facing at me and do broadcasts and do the work that I was doing, and having a place for the computer so I could type and I could do all the things that I do in a day's time. So they put another wheelchair person in with. Not only did we have his wheelchair to deal with as far as space, but then I can't take over part of his space with my walker. That wouldn't be right either. So I had no place to set up my computer. I had no place to work from because I can't go to the car, the observation car or the dining car and sit at a table and work, because I would have to do the steps then, and not only do the steps, but I have to do it with carrying my bag with all of my computer supplies and stuff in it. I just couldn't do that. So since this gentleman was going all the way to Florida, I knew that I was not going to be able to get out of the situation. So I had no choice but to cancel the show, because I couldn't research. I couldn't set the show up. I mean, if I could set the show up and researched it and written the show and had it ready to go, then I can always run the show from my phone or ask John to run the show, which we've done numerous times when I've been jammed up. This all happened before the show was ready to go. It was like 2 a.m. in the morning. So my apologies for that, folks. Anyway, so we're back to normal now, at least for a while. All right, welcome to Thursday Travel and Cruise Industry News. This is the 20th day of May, 2022. Today is National Pizza Party Day, so guess what, folks? Let's go have a pizza party. And Pittsburgh Jason, that'll be a special day for you. I know you like my pizza reviews. I'm not doing a pizza review today, Jason. Sorry. But anyway, go have some pizza, dude. That's probably what I'll do, too. I'll have some pizza today just to celebrate the day. All right, we do have some cruise ships sailing today from North American ports. Up in Boston, we got the Norwegian Pearl getting underway. In Baltimore, the American Star. Down in West Palm Beach, Margaritaville, Paradise at Sea. Chicago, the MV Victory 1. Out in Long Beach, Los Angeles, Carnival Radiance. San Pedro, Navigator of the Seas. San Francisco, Ruby Princess. Seattle, Ovation of the Seas. Celebrity Solstice. Vancouver, Radiance of the Seas, their land and cruise and land packages. The Star Breeze sails on a strictly cruise, and the MS Raoul Amundsen on a cruise. Up in Anchorage, the Celebrity Millennium cruise and land packages, the Norwegian Jewel cruise and land packages, and the Zuiderdam on a cruise only package. A lot of news to catch up on today, folks. A lot of news. We got a woman overboard from the Celebrity Solstice. Woman overboard in Alaska, and she missed out on a lot that way. Norwegian limits guest capacity. Carnival bans drones. Bermuda travel authorizations. That's one of Hot Air Tom's favorite subjects. Resort World Cruise and Genting Dream. Can't believe what's happened over there. Carnival surpasses 2 million in guests since the restart. Carnival Pride adjustments following it there in the UK. Tourism enhancements to the Grand Cayman Islands. Details on the MSC's World Europa. Odyssey of the Seas date change. Celebrity NFT and a whole lot more here this morning live at 11. If you're listening via the podcast, all of the back episodes of the podcast are now posted. Some of you know that the last 3 days in particular, I could not get on the various websites to post the podcast. The podcast itself was posted. If you searched for it via Stitcher, let's say, you could hear the podcast. It was there. I could not access my blog, accessadventure.net, to promote the podcast and to have it in that place where you normally can get access to it. So now I'm back home with my normal Wi-Fi signal. I could, of course, access the site early this morning, and I started posting. And all episodes now up through this one will be posted within about 15 minutes after the show is over, are now active on the my blog, which is accessadventure.net. And of course, all you have to do at any of the major outlets for podcast is search for travel and cruise industry news, like Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Pandora, Podchaser, iHeartRadio, Spotify, TuneIn, all the majors. You can get the broadcast that way. I don't have any today, but I will be putting up some pictures and clips of various folks that are traveling as I get caught up with. I'm so far behind on everything, folks. I get caught up with everything I'm behind on. We'll be posting some things that everybody has sent through the system for me. I did talk with Mr. Bucket List since we've gotten off the cruise. And I asked him, because I did not get a chance to talk to him after it happened, how he liked the helicopter tour. First time he's been on a helicopter. And he did the helicopter tour of one of the glaciers. And he said that was the entire highlight of the whole cruise. It was fantastic, well worth the money. He highly recommends that to anybody that's sailing to Alaska this year. So that's pretty high praise for an excursion from Mr. Bucket List. It was great fun for him to be on the cruise with me. he wasn't with me per se, but be on the same cruise I'm on. And I enjoyed being with him several times. Of course, he did an interview. When he gets it all edited and up on his site, he'll send me the link, and I will share that with you guys here because I think it's a pretty good interview. It'll also go on my blog, planning. So, and of course, in collaboration with Chillie's Cruises, Cruises for Solos, and Shelby at TravelFun.biz, we've got a big group cruise coming up in December, on December 4th, on the Norwegian Encore from Miami. 7-night cruise stopping in Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, St. Thomas, Tortola, the British Virgin Islands, my favorite island, and Great Stirrup Cay in the Bahamas. If you'd like more information, get a hold of Shelby. You can text her, phone her, email her, Facebook her, send smoke signals, send Morse code. Shelby will answer you and get back to you, and you get choked up on the group cruise. I am going to be hosting the group cruise. I will be on board the Encore on the 4th of December. All right, we'll be back with today's news right after this word from one of our network sponsors. All right, back with the news this morning. The search has ended for a woman overboard from Celebrity Solstice in Alaska's Inside Passage. The woman was reported overboard approximately 3 a.m. on Tuesday, and search operations began, but without success. The search was suspended 9 hours later due to the probability that the woman had not survived. The captain of Celebrity Solstice reported the 40-year-old woman overboard to the Coast Guard at approximately 3 a.m. Tuesday morning. The ship had departed Juneau several hours earlier as scheduled and was cruising roughly 20 miles west of the port near Eldred Rock in Lynn Canal at the time the overboard was reported. Boat and helicopter teams responded to the report and began searching the area with no results. After 9 hours, the search was ended. It's believed the woman must have perished. And just a fact check on the story, the survivability in the cold waters of the Inside Passage is estimated at just over 6 hours under the best possible conditions. Of course, that's based on, calculated on the person's age, their health, air and wind temperatures, and other factors. But 9 hours in that cold water, it's just not going to happen. Norwegian Cruise Line has begun to temporarily limit guest capacity aboard the Pride of America due to crew shortages. We've been hearing a lot about crew shortages lately, folks. This move is one of several strategies the cruise line is using to keep service levels up to expectations, even while struggling to fill crew rosters. According to a report from Travel Pulse, the ship, which normally carries a crew of 920 to 940 international employees, only has 550 employees on board at the moment. Because such low staffing would dramatically decrease the quality of service, the cruise line is limiting guests on board so the available crew members can perform their duties as expected. The double occupancy rate on the Pride of America is 2,186, meaning at the moment the ship is restricted to roughly 50 to 55% of capacity. To facilitate the capacity limits, Norwegian Cruise Line has stopped new bookings aboard Pride of America through October. Now, folks, it is possible if conditions improve and they get their staffing numbers up and the demand is high, possibly they could open up dates again later on this year. But I would recommend, folks, if you're going to Hawaii and you want to do the 7-day Pride of America cruise, call Norwegian or your travel agent and get put on a waiting list or something if anything becomes available on those dates, cancellations or whatever. I mean, it can't hurt. Better than being told, no, you're not going to be able to do that, August. Carnival Cruise Line has banned the use of drones on board its ships. Previously, the cruise line was one of the few that were bringing a drone on board was allowed. The news will disappoint drone enthusiasts who have had hoped to get some epic shots from the ports Carnival cruise ships visits. Drones have quickly gained popularity in recent years, especially since the highly portable, high definition drones started making their way into daily life. Now, Carnival banned the use of drones on board the ships several years ago, as did virtually everybody. But guests were still able to bring them on board and use them in the ports. That won't happen any longer. All right, one of Hot Air Tom's favorite subjects. Guests sailing to Bermuda on a Carnival cruise for the next few weeks will need to continue to complete the country's travel authorization form and pay additional fees. The requirement, first implemented in 2021, will now be required at least through June the 16th sailing of Carnival Magic and the 19th of June sailing of the Carnival Legend. The travel authorization application to visit Bermuda includes a $40 per person fee, which must be paid prior to the cruise embarkation, regardless of when the ship visits Bermuda. The application also includes information about the guest's pre-arrival COVID test and vaccination records. The fee must be paid via Visa or MasterCard. That's the only way that they accept payments at this time. And the fee must be paid by all passengers over the age of 2, regardless of whether or not the passengers will be getting off the ship in Bermuda. So everybody on board the ship has got to pay the $40 fee, whether you're going to Bermuda or not, just to be in the boat that stops there. Seems a little harsh. Wonder about the legality of that one. Well, I guess when you're in Rome, you do as the Romans, so making cruising more expensive, folks. A little special to do from Carnival. Carnival passed 2 million guests since the restart. The milestone was commemorated in Port Canaveral on the Carnival Freedom as the Gibbs family. No, not with the one from NCIS, folks. Daniel and Christy, with son Mason and grandmother Teresa Campbell from Ocala, Florida, got on the ship. They were surprised with the fanfare from Carnival Freedom's Captain Mario Limbimbo, the hotel director, the cruise director, and various team members. Carnival first resumed operation on July the 3rd from Galveston, when Carnival Vista sailed from Galveston. The following day, Carnival Horizon sailed from Port Miami. Since then, the line has restarted the rest of the 23 ship fleet from 13 U.S. home ports. Also from Carnival, and an update on the health and safety protocols, Carnival Cruise Line is easing restrictions for participating in the youth programs fleet-wide, available today. The biggest change as summer approaches is young cruisers are no longer required to be vaccinated in order to participate. This was revealed in an update to the cruise line's Have Fun, Be Safe protocols, which was released earlier in the week. All right. The new Resorts World Cruises will start cruising on June the 15th from Marina Bay in Singapore with the Genting Dream. According to sources, the ship has been chartered to a newly formed Resorts World Cruises brand by a consortium of banks. Resorts World Cruises is an extension of Resorts World, a hotel group, and controlled by the Lim family, who owned and operating Genting Cruise Lines. Remember, they went belly up. Remember all those cruises that got canceled with people on board? All the money that the cruisers lost? Yeah, same dude. Bookings open for the ship this week. V Ships Leisure will stay on as technical manager of the vessel. Not sure I like this one at all. I think they got the number one. I think that guy should be in jail, but that's just me. So I don't know. Carnival has changed 3 sailings for the Carnival Pride's British Isles departures, including July 10th, 22nd, and August the 12th sailings. The ship's 12-day sailings, which departs the port of Dover in England on July the 10th, will no longer visit the Isle of Skye in Scotland, which was scheduled for July the 18th. The vessel will replace Portree on the Isle of Skye with a call at Stornoway in Scotland on the same day, arriving at 7 a.m., departing at 4 p.m. All the other ports in Iceland, Northern Ireland, and Wales on the July 10th sailing will remain the same. Some of them will have modified times, so you'll need to check on that if the times are important to you. The scheduled call to Skye has been removed for the July 22nd 9-day departure, which is also out of Dover. Carnival Pride is replacing the call with Stornoway in Scotland on the same day, July the 26th, with arrival at 8 a.m., departure at 4. There's also an itinerary change for the ship's August 12th 9-day departure from Dover. Carnival Pride's call in Skye, Scotland has been removed on August the 14th and replaced with Holyhead in Wales on the same day, with arrival at 8, departure at 5. All right, Grand Cayman. I suppose this one's good news for a change from Grand Cayman. After 2 years of closed borders and no cruise travel, and all the discussions about whether to let cruises back in or not let cruises back in and make sure that they were the first one on there was all kind of rules and regulations. Well, apparently that's all been thrown out now. Anyway, they finally got cruising open in Cayman Islands in March, and I guess everybody's realized that it's bringing in some money. So now we got to expand. We got to do something to bring more cruisers in, which is great. I'm not making fun of that. But now the Cayman Islands is looking to expand cruise tourism and enhance the guest experiences at the popular Caribbean destination. The agreement, which was announced this week, encompasses both the government of Cayman as well as a trade group and member cruise lines that includes Carnival, Celebrity, Cunard, Disney, Holland America, MSC, Norwegian, Princess, and Royal Caribbean. The landmark agreement is designed to encourage greater economic opportunities in the Cayman Islands, promoting stronger ties between the local retailers and the cruise lines. Possible options that we could see in the very near future. Options for excursions would be exclusive tours to sister islands, deeper interactions with local residents to explore Caymanian culture, or finer local cuisine options for culinary aficionados. This may create longer port stays, which will further broaden opportunities for Caymanian folks that live in Cayman Islands, retailers. to generate further revenue from cruise travel. Hats off to the folks at Grand Cayman getting their act together and looking to promote things instead of demote them. Msc Cruises, with only 6 months before she sets sail for the first time, Msc has released a preview of the new World Europa, the LNG-powered cruise ship, which promised to be the greatest vessel in the Msc lineup. Measuring 22 decks and more than 150 feet wide, World Europa features more than 430,000 square feet of public space, 2,626 cabins and suites. The 2005 gross tons of Msc World Europa promised to be one of the ultimate cruise ships to launch this year and will become one of the world's largest, including a story-high promenade, 7 pools and 15 hot tubs, 13 dining venues, 6 specialty restaurants, 20 bars and lounges, grand-scale theater productions, a roller disco, and even bumper cars. Going to be plenty to do on Msc's World Europa. Royal Caribbean has had to change an Odyssey of the Sea date. The December 17th Odyssey of the Sea sailing has been changed, will now be departing from Port Everglades 1 day earlier on December 16th. Now, they have not announced any changes in the schedule around that yet, just the one major change. Unconfirmed reports are noting that this particular cruise will now become a 6-night sailing rather than a 7-night cruise. But as the sailing is no longer available for new bookings at this time, this information is not yet verified. Royal Caribbean has altered sailings due to berthing conflicts at the ship's home port. So I guess they had too many ships sailing that day. I don't know. Celebrity Cruise Line, known for its next generation ships at the crossroads of architecture and design, galloping on the wave of the future with its first art on non-fungible token. The modern NFT collection comprises the addition of 5 works of art on the move, one of which is currently on show at the Cube Art Fair in Times Square that runs from May 18th through the 22nd. So you got 2 more days, folks, to get over to see that. On June the 1st, NFT will then become accessible for buying through the OpenSea platform. Proceeds from the deal will go to the artist. So, we've actually had a couple stories on NFTs recently. All right, let's go see who's over in the chat room, probably fussing at me. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Hot Air Tom's with us, thank goodness for the time change. Yeah, he's down in New Orleans. Can't do something until right now, as a matter of fact. So, Hot Air Tom is off to do something with the breeze. That's the Breeze airline, folks. I know that. Cindy has her power chair, but no seats in the open space near the ticket counter. No crowd, so a good place to wait and see what do. I borrow an airport wheelchair to sit in and listen to Chillie. Well, okay. I'm glad you're with us, Hot Air Tom. As always, or at least most of the time, I have found some reason to talk about you, as I was doing a story today. Sonny's with us down in Mississippi. Hi, Sonny. Hot Air said it did give me time to check the weight and found my suitcase was 1 pound over and move a couple items, yeah, they're going to soak you for that 1 pound if you let it go through. Cindy Lee's with us. Hi, Cindy. Bet you're glad to be home. Man, I tell you what, the last couple hours, the last day, but definitely by last evening, my butt was getting sore. I was tired of sitting on a train. I enjoyed the train, don't get me wrong. But 4 days of it, that's the second 4-day stretch. That's a long time on a train. And I haven't experienced the sleeper car, which I want to do at some point in time. So I really know where I'm coming from. But they are so expensive. To me, they seem to be so expensive. And I know Hot Air Tom's going to say, don't be a tight ass, Chillie. But note to Chillie, NOLA is not handicapped accessible. Do not book any hotels or cruises from the city. Sidewalks are a disaster. Many curbs not ramped. Okay, then that's a good subject for me to start working on, Hot Air Tom. Come on, Tom. Hot Air Tom, because I'm scheduled out of Nolans next January. So we'll have to make that work. Chillie will need to buy 2 tickets in the future to keep his office open. Yeah. And I talked with John about it, since John's got more experience. All the times that he's been on the train, which is a lot, he's never had trains that full and that pressured. He thought I'd have no problems at all if I had, in a non-sleeper situation. And of course, I tried to get sleeper arrangements and couldn't get them. It was all sold out. But yeah, I'm not going to buy 2 tickets. That ain't going to happen either. Carol's with us. Hi, Carol. Gretchen's here. Morning, everybody, she says. Kenny's with us. Welcome back, Chillie. You probably missed your breath. I tell you what, I missed everything. I'm glad to be back home. There's no doubt about that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm ready to go again. I don't have anything scheduled until June the 27th. I'm doing on back-to-back group cruises with JJ Cruise, that whole gang of folks. So I'm looking forward to that, to actually getting to meet them in person. But they swear up and down that I'm going to be invited to do their hot tub live stream. I don't know about that one, but we'll see. But anyway, that's the next on the agenda. I do have to make a decision, folks, how I'm going to get from the studio here to Miami. I have 3 options. I can fly. You know my feelings about flight. I can take the train. If I drive a couple hours over to Petersburg and hop the train there, it's be 24 hours roughly to Miami. If I take it from here and then have to go to Washington, lay over for 5 or 6 or 7 hours, and then take the train from Washington down, it's going to take me 36 hours to get there. So I'm looking at that. And I'm looking at driving. I did fine getting to Port Canaveral. I broke it up and it was a 2-day drive. It wasn't even a hard 2-day drive. Hot Air Tom, set that up for me with the motels on that part of the route. And he basically made the call on how many miles I could do, and which was perfect. So yeah, if I do the same amount of mileage, adding Miami on is going to add another day. So at my piddling and driving, I'd be taking 3 days to get down there and 3 days back. Not the end of the world. would also give me the opportunity, which I did not take going across country because I was not comfortable enough to try to do anything extra. I was more concerned with just getting my fat butt where I needed to be on the right kind of schedule. But it would give me the opportunity of stopping some places along the way and, maybe doing some accessibility studies and videos as I work my way down to Miami. But I got to make a decision on that one because I mean, if I'm going to go one of the purchase routes, which would be the train or the plane, I got to do it. It's a month away now, so it's getting too close to let it ride much longer. Gretchen says filled in our Spain immigration forms, but can't complete them until we are within 72 hours. Yeah, that's the difficulty of some of the things when you're traveling from afar. You can't do things until it's time limit, and you're already at that time limit. You're going to be engaged in getting where you're going. Sonny says leaving Sunday, going back to Alaska. Wish I could stay there. I tell you what, Sonny, I'm definitely going to go back to Alaska. Excuse me. I have some things that I still want to do that I haven't been able to do yet. I loved Alaska. The scenery is just so majestic. There's just no words for it. Yeah. Became a big fan. I'm sorry that I have been so long in doing that. Of course, I tried for the last, 3 years to go, and it's been canceled for one reason or another. Gretchen says, Tom, you're flying Breeze Airline. Bet the weight limit is 40 pounds like Spirit. Majors let you go 50. Spirit tells you you don't need to rearrange weight. We will allow 80 together if 2 people travel. Hot Air Tom cruise countdown 35 days until the Pearl cruise to Bermuda ×2 from Boston. 2 nights pre and post in Boston. Man, there's a lot of things to do in Boston. I like Boston. It's one of my favorite cities. I love Boston. I love the sports in Boston. I love eating in Boston. Especially lobster rolls. I mean, you get me past Connecticut, and I'm starting to look for signs for lobster rolls, but especially in the Boston area. Boston clam chowder. There's a lot of good eating up there. The original Cheers bar from the TV show. I've been there. I like Boston. And things around Boston, like up to Gloucester, for instance. There's some neat things to do in Gloucester with the old fishing area and whaling. That's just neat. There's neat stuff all around Boston. Good place to visit, hot area. There's plenty to keep you busy up there. Sonny says, Tom, tell us how much of a Breeze Airlines is. That's a good one. Gretchen says 21 days and counting. You don't leave until we are back, I guess, Tom, on the 20th. Sonny wants to know, Gretchen, have you started packing yet? That's a good question for Gretchen. I know I pack at 5 minutes before I leave usually. I try to get it done a day ahead. So Cindy says she leaves on the 23rd of May on Conquest back-to-back. Carnival lets you test 3 days prior. If boosted, I'm negative and ready. It's going to be interesting now. One of the things that I did find out from Royal Caribbean, I became really good friends with the couple that we were at the dining room table together. And then I ended up going on one of the excursions with them. They were just so much fun. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have Sue. I don't know if I'll have Sue and Barry, but I'll definitely have Sue on to talk about gambling on cruise ships and the benefits of gambling on cruise ships. And she's become like an expert on the system. But anyway, they were terrifically fun people to be around. They did back-to-backs on Quantum of the Seas. The middle test between Cruise 1 and Cruise 2, we've always had to do a retest, just like we have to do the test before the cruise that we do in the home test. You know, the Abbott. That reminds me, I got to order some more of those. I used my last one. But now, if you're doing back-to-back, you don't have to do that anymore. So they've eliminated that test. Royal Caribbean has. Now, not everybody, but Royal Caribbean has eliminated that one test that was required. They've also eliminated that you have to get off the ship now. You just have to go check in, flash your badge. You don't have to go through customs and then get back on the ship. You know, that was a pain in the butt for nothing. I mean, you had to walk all the way off. I mean, I didn't walk, but I had to ride along with everybody that was walking. Of course, I'm teasing them that I'm getting tired, and they're the ones walking the extra 5 miles. But you had to go off. You go up, and especially the ones using facial recognition software now, you have to go up, look in the camera. It says that that's you, and you turn around and walk back on the boat. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Not the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but one of them. So they didn't have to do that now in between the two. They were able just to go check in, check out, check back in, on board, done, which makes sense. So those were a couple changes that Royal Caribbean is implementing. It's a good sign. Maybe I'm wondering if the day of the pre-cruise test, the Abbott binary thing, 72 hours before you sail, whatever it is, 48 hours in some cases. But anyway, I'm wondering if that may be going by the wayside soon. I don't know, but would be the next logical step to me. Haven't seen it yet. Don't get me wrong, but I got a feeling that would be the next major change we're going to see coming down the pike. The breeze flight down was nice. Crew was very casual. Funny, the breeze counter will not allow check-in of bag until hour prior to boarding. Nanook of the North, John is with us. Hey, welcome home, he says. Thank you, John. See, I didn't wake you up today. There's a day that I didn't wake you up for once. I'll let you sleep in. I'll make up for it, though. I promise you. Sonny says, Tom, can you get through TSA in an hour after check-in with the bag? That is, those of us that don't have pre-check. And Sonny says to Cindy, have fun back-to-backs. Have fun. Hot Air says, Sonny, we are pre-checked, but we can see the line from where we are sitting. Lots of travelers today. Gretchen says, no, Sonny, haven't started to pack. Yeah, don't worry, Gretchen. I'm with you. I don't get it done that early. I tell you what, I was so tired when I got home last night. I hadn't even gotten my suitcase out of the car yet. I brought my computer stuff in. That's all I brought in last night. Was my portable oxygen unit, because that had to be recharged, and my suitcase that carries all my computer stuff in. I haven't even got my suitcase or my coat in yet, so I'll do that after the show today. Gretchen says, you really want to stay in Alaska, Sonny? Aren't you a hot weather fan? Yeah, that's the only thing. The only drawback is that cold weather. But I tell you what, I mean, I was out there in 6 hours in it roughly on the day we were around the glacier. Now, yeah, I did come in to warm up for a few minutes. Just I'd run inside where the heat was on and warm up a little, but then go right back outside. And I had a big winter coat on and several layers, but I was reasonably comfortable for somebody that hadn't been in cold weather at all for 3 years. I mean, even here in Virginia, where it does get cold and we do get some snow, but I hadn't been out of the house in the winter forever. So I hadn't been around any cold air at all. I still have a tendency to freeze my butt off that most people don't, but that's still all, leftovers from the chemo experience where my thermostat still hasn't reset. Emily's with us. Hi, Emily. I got nothing to tease Emily about today. Ooh, boy, that's unusual. I'll find something, Emily. Don't worry. I'll come up with something to tease you about. Gretchen wants to know if the doggies are behaving. The new old Emily is here. Must be the real Emily since she is late. That's correct. Hot air Tom taking up my slacking on him. And so, Cindy, are you packed in Bon Voyage? Going good. It will be 90s this weekend. Yeah, I've got shorts on today. Of course, I didn't wear shorts on the cruise at all. I had some with me, but never had them on. So, Emily says it's too early for 90s up there in New York. And Gretchen says it might hit it today. I mean, I heard that. I did not look to see specifically what our forecast is today, but I know we're going to be heading in that direction. So, expecting 94 today and Saturday in Richmond. We're going to be very close to that. Richmond is normally a degree or two warmer than we are here in Lynchburg, only because I'm at a little higher elevation than hot air is over in Richmond. But yeah, that's early in the year for being that hot. While I was gone, I did notice that my pool guys have been here. The pool's uncovered. I have not been outside to see how much of the cleanup process and getting everything going again has been done. Did not see the water moving in the pool, so I'm assuming that they're still in the cleaning process. But I mean, I'm not getting in it for a while until the water warms up some. I promise you that. Amanda will. Amanda gets in it when it's way too cold for me. So, was I near the food area in the train? No, I could not go there because you had to go upstairs through a car or a car and a half and then downstairs again to the food area. There's no access on the level with the bathrooms. That's part of the way that those cars are designed wrong. So I was not accessed close to the food level. So I had to depend on the conductor to come by and say, okay, I got a few minutes. What do you want? Take my order, take my money, go get it and bring it back, and then have to eat it where I was sitting. It was not a problem on all of the trains until yesterday, and there were so many people there in the car that could not access the steps. That I mean, the conductor was. I mean, it was taking him hours to get a meal done for us. So yeah, it was kind of testy. So, but yeah, that was, of all the negative things, that was clearly one of them. And just yesterday when it was so jammed with other handicapped folks. I mean, I'm glad that they're traveling. Don't get me wrong. I challenge all handicapped people to get out and go all the ways possible. I'm all behind you 100%. I'm just in a situation where I wish there wasn't quite as many at one time. But, you know, by all means. And what I ended up doing, I don't think I even said this. It got so kind of uncomfortable for me. Number one, being in a chair, the seat with somebody is never comfortable for a big fat guy. But then, because I was on the window side of things, I had a little cup holder and a place that I could put a couple things uh, next to the seat, along the window. The aisle seat, there's no place for them on the accessible front seats. There's no seat in front of you that you've got to lift down tray on that you find on the other seats on the car. So, I mean, there's nothing. Yes, you got more leg room, more foot room, and you got, about 5 feet of space to the wall at the end of the car. Maybe a little 6 feet of space. So you got leg room, but there's nothing that you don't have that drop down tray like you on airplane seats. They have those on train seats too. So the guy that was sitting next to me, who was much more severely handicapped than I am, he had no place to put a drink, and no place to have food, be able to feed himself. So I just set up my walker, and I got out of the seat that I paid for, let him move over to the window seat so he could have access to the cup holder and have food and be able to feed, eat, and the like. And I spent the last 8 hours in my walker. So that's how I got around it. Sonny says, Gretchen, I like hot weather, but not as long as it lasts in the South. Love the cold in Alaska. Gretchen says, I'm with you there. Long stretches of air conditioning can get to you. Emily played blackjack when she was on NCL Dawn. Lost at that time. Oh, well, better luck next time. Casino was smoky. I did not like that. That's just me. The casino, I didn't play anything in the casino. Goodness gracious, my throat's dry. I didn't gamble on this cruise at all. There were areas that were smoking, but it was not as offensive as it's been on other cruises that allow smoking in the casino now. There are also areas that they don't allow smoking in the casino, which obviously is helps it out some. But yeah, I didn't gamble any. But it's going to be interesting when we interview Sue. She and Barry have decided that they set aside money to gamble and end up getting free cruises and a lot of free cruises. So I'm going to talk to her about those secrets, and that's going to be coming up soon. They get off the ship. They're doing back-to-backs, I told you. They get off on Monday, and we'll fly home to Buffalo. So we'll see if we can get them in next week. I know they've got a place up in the mountains that they've got to go do this, spring cleanup and fixing up and that kind of thing. But we'll see when I can schedule it with them or with her, and we're going to talk about that because there's, JJ Crew does a lot of get some free cruise from gambling too. They've done one of their videos on that. So What ship did Elizabeth go on? I must have missed that show. She is on a Carnival Dream. It's out of Galveston. Hang on, I gotta go look. I never can remember. Carnival Dream, I think. Give me 2 seconds, Kenneth. I can pull that up. If I'm right, at least I can prove that I'm right. Yeah, out of Galveston. Carnival Dream. That's where Elizabeth is now. So, and Hot Air got Emily. Yes, he did. I was tickled pink since I was being nice today. I won't be nice tomorrow, Em. I promise you. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for today. It's so good to be back home. Yeah, I admit. As much as I love to go, as much as I love to cruise, it was certainly nice to be in my bed last night. And I certainly still need to catch up on some sleep because I didn't sleep very well on a train. That's just not in my DNA yet. I slept better this time, but not near as much. So, all right, guys, there will be no show tomorrow. I'm back to the 5-day-a-week schedule. So no show on Saturday. If something major happens or there's a major news story that could change, I will be continuing to try to catch up. I've got so many videos and posts and so much stuff to catch up on. Good heavens. Not only just from this cruise, I got stuff to catch on from back 3-4 cruises ago that I haven't caught up on yet. So, going to start working seriously on that now, since I'm home for a while. All right. We will be with you on Sunday with the Cruise Amigos. We're going to get a report from Amigo Martin on his anniversary cruise with Captain Caden Bug Naked. We'll be talking to Martin about that on Sunday. And of course, Nanook of the North John will be with us on Sunday as well. So, for everybody, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. And hopefully, one day soon, we'll all get together on the high seas. This is the old fat travel guy. Have a fabulous day. I'll see everybody on Sunday at 2 o'clock out in the afternoon for Cruise Amigos, and see everybody back here Monday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. For now, Chillie Falls. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.